In the last video we saw how work can be related to the changes in kinetic energy. So if it can be related to changes in kinetic energy, then why couldn't it also be related to changes in gravitational potential energy? So we're saying that if you lift something up, in this way we're sort of saying that if you lift something up, you've done work on it. And the amount of work you've done on it will be equal to the difference in the GPE of the object, or the GPE of the object, sorry. Alright, so let's have a look. We know that GPE is dependent upon the height above the Earth's surface, the mass and gravity. Alright? Now, to change the height, work must be done. And unfortunately I've got a typo here because what's happened is I've got an autocorrect thing with it. Alright, so it should say must be done, and we'll fix it up. Alright, so if I want to lift something up, as I said before, then what I've got to do is change the height. So I'm doing work. Alright, now we know from this that the work that actually is done will be the same as the change in GPE due to the change. So if it's change in altitude, it will be due to that. Now we also know that GPE is equal to m times g times h. So obviously I'm looking at a before and after situation, before we start, and then when we're finished, and to see the differences in those. So let's look at an example. I've got you lifting a 200 gram book off the floor. Alright? So we've got a mass of 200 gram. Now that's not in the right form. It's got to be divided by 1,000 to turn it into kilograms, and so it's 0.2 kilograms. We've got a height of 2.0 meters, and we've got gravity is 9.8. Right, so let's put these in. So if we start thinking about it, then we're looking at the change in potential energy that's happened. Right, on the floor, which is zero height, so the height is 0, we're going to have 0.2, again a typo, times 9.8 times 0. So that's going to be 0, that value there. Anything times by 0 is 0, a basic math premise. Now over here, we've got what it would be, what the new GPE would be when it's on the shelf. So it's 0.2, which is mass, times 9.8 times 2. So we can see that 3.92 is the amount of GPE it has on the shelf. Right? 0 was the amount it had on the floor, so the difference is 3.92 joules. So this should start to make sense. So if we've got vertical movement of something, we can use GPE to help us work out how much work was done. And we can use on the horizontal one, as we saw the other day, we can use, if we know the mass and speed of something, we can work out how the changing kinetic energy also talks about how much work is done. So it's very good to see we've got this link between work and both main types of energy.